At the park, Nick meets up with Phyllis again. He questions her being as thick as thieves with Cain at society last night. Is she helping him steal his family's companies or not? Phyllis reminds Nick that he asked her to keep him in the loop. She has to spend time with Cain to do that. She spent the entire evening trying to convince him not to use the AI software. Nick asks if she was successful. Phyllis claims he's more focused on his children. Nick's not buying it. He can multitask. The redhead hedges that he won't risk his relationship with his kids right now. Ashby trusts her, but Nick doesn't. Nick feels he's being played. Nick complains that Phyllis doesn't see the red flags that he does. He's saved her from herself more times than he can count. They're on the edge, and she's ready to fall. Phyllis argues that his father has him conditioned to think the universe revolves around the Newmans. Nick warns that for Cain to get what he wants, she could be one of the people who gets hurt. Nick rants that she needs to put distance between her and Cain, but she's tired of him passing judgment on her. She'll work for who she damn well pleases. Nick warns that what's happening between them right now plays into Cain's hands. Is he supposed to watch her ruin her life? Phyllis, boring into his soul with her eyes, implores him to trust her, to trust that she knows what she's doing. If he doesn't, that's his problem, not hers. Michael arrives in Victor's office at Newman, and the mustache declares that all he wants to hear from him is yes. Suddenly, Michael gets a call from Cain. He muses that he must want to know his answer as well. Victor informs him he'll have to pick a side. In his train car, Cain leaves Michael a voicemail saying he wants to know if he'll come and work for him by tonight. Michael pulls out a chair to sit, and Victor snaps that he didn't invite him to do so. Refreshingly, the attorney sits anyway and informs Victor he's not there to kiss the ring. He's willing to infiltrate Cain's world, and he misses their friendship, but not the imbalance between them. Michael forces his stubborn former boss to listen as he explains his motivation is to get rid of the aggressor and keep peace. Throwing the attorney a bone, the mustache hints that their friendship could be reinstated someday. At Billy's place, Sally finds him passed out on the sofa and gently awakens him. He says, "I was dreaming." She replies, "You always are." Sally informs him she won't let him go forward with his plan to work with Cain. He argues it's not the time to play it safe. Sally is sure Ashby's leading him off a cliff. Sally knows Jill broke Billy's heart, but Abbott Communications was about proving he could build something on his own. They don't need Cain. They have their own company and each other. Isn't that enough? Clearly it's not, as Billy complains about her lack of flexibility and starts going on about Chancellor. When Sally gets exasperated, Billy informs her Jack pulled his funding. Their company is dead. That's why he has to work with Cain. They both want the same thing, to take down Victor Newman. Sally, visibly upset, rants that she trusted him and put her whole reputation on the line. People warned her this would happen. She already feels she's losing him when she sees the look in his eye when he talks about going after Chancellor, and fears she's not enough for him. She reveals that she told Cain and Phyllis last night that she wouldn't let him do this. He's putting his obsessions ahead of them, and he's not listening to her. Billy tries to convince her to stand by his side as they rise to the top and reveals that he has a plan. Victor checks in with Adam at Newman Media and goes over making Cain turn over his very powerful weapon to them. Adam notes Nick and Victoria are worried about the legal ramifications. Predictably, Victor shrugs that off. Talk turns to Chelsea becoming an asset and the failure of the Abbott Communications launch. Adam thinks they should test the AI out on the media company. Chelsea knows Billy is aligned with Cain and will surely understand. Victor's impressed that he's managed to bring her around. He agrees to bring Billy down, and then they'll train their sights on Jack Abbott. Adam looks less sure of this. Michael joins Cain on his train and tells him he's inclined to accept his offer. But he has a few conditions. He doesn't want anyone to know about their collusion, given he'll have to bend rules. Cain asks if that's because of Victor or Lauren. Michael tells him it is none of his business. Cain agrees to keep things between them. Michael wants to haggle on the offer, so Cain doubles it, and they shake hands. Cain tells Michael his first assignment is to make peace with Phyllis, who is part of the team. While he's doing that, he'll fix things with his family. Michael returns to Victor's office and says it's done. Victor asks what he found out. Michael tells him Phyllis has a role in whatever game Cain is playing. He points out Summer won't be happy if her mother is hurt. He'll try to keep the redhead out of the fray. Victor muses, maybe we can kill two birds with one stone. Phyllis walks into society and takes a call from Michael. She calls him a backstabbing ex-friend, and he asks if they can get together. On his end, Michael glances at Victor as he says, there's something important we need to discuss. Phyllis sort of agrees to meet him at the Overlook. After Michael disconnects, Victor tells him that if Phyllis is involved, Cain clearly plans to proceed despite his threat. Michael asks, so what do we do now? Adam finds Nick in the park. His brother complains about getting kicked in the head. Adam guesses he's talked to Phyllis. Nick's convinced she's playing for the other team. They worry if Cain uses Phyllis as a hacker and installs the software, he could create havoc. Nick can't protect Phyllis, who's in between them, if she doesn't pick the right side. Adam asks if she comes after their family, will Nick be okay with going after her? At Billy's place, he tells Sally his plan is to use the threat of AI warfare against Victor. He won't actually have to use the software. He'll get Chancellor in exchange for not ruining him. He won't use Cain's plan, but his own. It's a win-win for us. In his train car, alone, Cain smiles like the cat that ate the canary. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, September 15th, reveal that Cain Ashby will tempt Billy Abbott's sinister side, while Diane Jenkins Abbott gets a panicked visitor. For starters, it looks like Sally Spectra will decide to seek out Jack Abbott and appeal to his love for his brother. Sally will be in panic mode over what Billy's on the verge of doing, so she'll head to the Abbott mansion. Y&R spoilers say Diane will be there when Sally arrives and will sense that there's a Billy-related crisis going on. Sally will ultimately confess that Billy's about to make the biggest mistake of his life, so she may offer updates on the whole ugly story. After Cain canceled the launch, he offered up the AI software that could destroy Victor. Sally may spill that news and point out that Billy now claims he wants to simply use the threat of that software to control Victor. Of course, Sally may doubt that Victor's going to scare that easily. Plus, going against the scheme that Cain has in mind could make Billy his target too. There's also the possibility that Billy won't be able to resist total Victor destruction in the end. That should be a fear for Sally as well, since what Cain's suggesting is illegal and could result in prison time. Sally may talk to Diane about all this and hope she can convince Jack to intervene somehow. However, Diane may worry that there's no getting through to Billy and hope to keep Jack out of this mess. On Cain's train, he'll await Billy's answer. Cain will hope that Billy's there to reach an agreement and move forward with the collapse of Victor's empire. As Cain plays up how good it'd feel to defeat Victor, he'll exploit Billy's vengeful desires and hope it pays off. Billy may strike a deal with Cain, but which of their plans will win out in the end? Regardless, Victor never truly loses for long on the CBS soap, so both Cain and Billy had better watch out for his wrath. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Billy could regret getting tangled up in Cain's chaos, so stay tuned. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Clare Newman and Holden Novak could get arrested together. Will a wild night go wrong and lead to consequences? Kyle Abbott has a bad feeling about Clare's bond with Holden and has tried to warn her that he can't be trusted. Of course, Clare views Holden as a good man and has made it clear that Kyle doesn't control who her friends are. Kyle pushed Holden to stay away from Clare, but Holden is already ignoring that warning. Now that Holden has developed real feelings for Clare, those feelings are going to get stronger as this storyline moves along. However, Kyle won't be the only one who's concerned about Clare and Holden's connection in the coming weeks. Victoria Newman will also fear that Holden could be leading Clare down a terrible road. The closer Clare gets to Holden, the more worried Victoria will become about the situation. Victoria's anxiety has to mean something, so why will she be so on edge over Holden's influence on Clare? Y&R spoilers indicate that Holden will bring some spice to Clare's life and give her a more adventurous path forward. Clare will take a walk on the wild side with Holden, so he may drag her into some trouble. Holden is already keeping secrets about some illegal activities he covered up with Audra Charles in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, Holden could have more crimes in his future, perhaps one or two that Clare could get tangled up in. We know Holden will extend a mysterious invitation to Clare soon. Holden might invite Clare somewhere magical that requires trespassing or something along those lines. It's easy to imagine Clare and Holden getting busted somewhere they shouldn't be. Then again, there could be some other legal drama that Holden pulls Clare into instead. Regardless, it'll prove Kyle and Victoria have valid concerns if Clare ends up in handcuffs. Will Clare and Holden get arrested once he leads her astray? The Young and the Restless spoilers say Clare's link to Holden could lead to alarming news, so stay tuned for updates on all the chaos. Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On The Young and the Restless, billionaires don't do what we expect them to do at all. Or maybe that's just the norm in Genoa City. And that's why it never occurs to anyone that Cain can afford private eyes on everyone 24/7. It's one thing for Nick to think that Cain wouldn't notice him giving the stink eye to Phyllis all night, but Michael is bouncing from Cain's train to Newman Tower to report in to Victor before and after every conversation. Granted, if Cain wasn't smart enough to follow Phyllis, Michael, or anyone else before paying presumably millions to get on board, then that's his problem. But the lack of trust amongst friends is only remarkable compared to the amount of trust they have that they haven't been watched. And speaking of Nick, GC's resident savior might be wasting a lot of effort in futility if it never occurred to him that for Phyllis to get the inside track on Cain, she'd actually have to talk to him. No one has ever been the same since the French Riviera. But there are some trains of thought that are simply inexplicable. And this idea that Cain wouldn't watch everyone's loyalty now that he's in town is a real head-scratcher. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full Y&R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not. Seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. The Young and the Restless spoilers note that fans have been a little concerned about Victor Newman recently. He's had his fair share of ups and downs in the land of Genoa City. But the threat of Cain Ashby is real, and unlike anything else the mustache has faced. Plus, considering everything the character's portrayer, Eric Braeden, has been through, is the CBS soap crafting an exit storyline for the leading man? Victor first entered the canvas in 1980, and while he was supposed to have a short run, the character ended up sticking around and has become one of the most iconic roles in the land of daytime drama and the Y&R. As an orphaned child, Victor built a legacy with his own 2 hands and has become one of the wealthiest and most powerful men on screen. With that said, he's also shared a beautiful love story with Nikki Newman. She recently turned the tables on Victor and surprised him for a change with a romantic dinner where the 2 took a walk down memory lane. The GC super couple shared a slow dance together, but these scenes also had fans concerned. Could the show be hinting at a send-off? The recent scenes between Victor and Nikki brought on the nostalgia. So much so that fans couldn't shake the idea that the Young and the Restless might be foreshadowing an exit from Victor. There are always retirement rumors circulating about the actor, but could his character's story be reaching its end? While Braeden is 84 years old, he's strong and healthy, but has had his fair share of plights in recent years. From his battle with cancer to losing his home in the recent wildfires in California, he may be contemplating retirement. Braeden has worked hard over the past few decades, and even if there is no reason, he may need or want a break. Is this the end of the road for Victor Newman? Share your thoughts. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily and check out this site often for the best Young and the Restless updates, spoilers, and news. What if he doesn't really want to work with them? He just wants to use them for his own benefit. Everyone thinks they have a shot at wealth and success. So far, Phyllis, Michael, and Billy are all in on Cain's lucrative deals. The billionaire has been making deals left and right, even though he hasn't made any moves. Maybe the real reason is that Cain's just using everyone for his personal gain on the Young and the Restless. Cain could say roll over, and Phyllis would go along with it. She hasn't questioned any of his moves. He's backed out of their deal even though she hasn't. Ever since she learned about artificial intelligence, she has wanted to take on this risky technology. She spilled the details about Cain's plan to Nick, who warned her not to work with him. There's no thinking about what AI could do to them and their company. However, Phyllis is doing exactly what Cain wants her to do, telling everyone about his plan as he concocts a new scheme behind their backs. Meanwhile, Michael accepted Cain's offer after Victor asked him to test his loyalty to him. He's aware that he has to do illegal and unethical things, but things could get even worse for Michael by going down this path. Billy is headed down a dark path as well. He's going all in with Cain's AI scheme, but he could end up losing Sally and Jack. He assured them that he had everything under control, but his lust for revenge and power had him on the brink. Cain doesn't want to work with these people because they're smart and knowledgeable. He wants to work with them because they're desperate and gullible. He's using them as scapegoats to make himself look like the good guy. They're already spiraling at the seams. Everyone will be fighting each other, while companies and reputations will be blown up, and Cain will be the last man standing. Lily is back on an old merry-go-round. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Monday, September 12th, find Cain telling Amanda about his newest plan. Maybe this one will actually work? Cain spent years building an empire, outsmarting everyone who came sniffing around regarding his true identity. But then he came up against Victor. And all Cain's brilliance dissolved like M&Ms in your mouth, not in your hand. Now Victor has the upper hand, to the point where Cain is willing to give up his years of planning to Billy. Or, at least, that's what he said. Reality may be a bit more complicated, which is why he needs Amanda's wisdom. Hopefully, she'll keep him from doing something too stupid. Phyllis made it clear to Michael that she'd be willing to forgive him for not backing up her illegal schemes if he admitted he was wrong, not to risk his own legal license for her nutty cause. Michael isn't quite willing to go that far, but he is willing to throw his lot in with Phyllis now that she's Cain's biggest fangirl, and Cain wants Michael to work for him. It's all sunshine and roses now. But what happens when Michael does the right thing, again, and Phyllis takes it personally? Ever since Cain came back to Genoa City, he's been spending as much time pining over Lily as he has reminding everyone that he's a big power player now. Lily has sung every verse of "We are never ever getting back together" she can think of, but Cain isn't buying a clue. Devin is kind of sick of the whole thing. He tells his sister she has to put her ex behind her for good. Dude, are you new here? She's been trying. Find out what else happens in our weekly Y&R spoilers for September 15th, 19. Also, next week on Y&R, Adam puts Chelsea in a tough position. It's the age of corporate war games on The Young and the Restless, where a stealthy AI software system has the power to topple Genoa City's most high-profile companies. During the week of September 15th and 19th, characters suffer setbacks, confront problems head-on, and cultivate alliances. Most of that is just a week in Cain Ashby's life. Here we go. Life with the Newmans will be a bit turbulent next week. Apparently, Victor's ability to multitask is one of his superpowers because it will help him take down his opponents. What is that even going to look like? So far, he wants to use Cain's AI software to target Abbott Communications, and then Jabot. Does Victor start executing his scheme? Meanwhile, Adam puts Chelsea in a tough position. Sure, she may be willing to utilize her con skills to help protect Newman Media, but is she ready for the Newmans to attempt to dismantle Billy's company? It sounds like she's going to need to make a big decision about where her loyalty lies, and that's never fun. Cain has a lot on his calendar next week, both personally and professionally. Some of the highlights. On Wednesday, September 17th, Cain plays mediator when he asks Billy to make amends with Jill. Is he sincere in helping mother and son mend fences? On Thursday, September 18, Cain turns his charms on Lily. Up until now, his charms haven't meant much to his ex-wife. However, she seems to be softening towards Cain little by little. So, will his charms actually work? Finally, on Friday, September 19th, Cain hosts a meeting of the minds. Are these so-called meetings of the minds the people he wants to do the dirty work? while he takes a backseat approach so he can face his kids and repair his relationship with them? And what will this summit entail? Are some of those names Phyllis, Billy, Sally, Amanda, Holden, and Michael? Or does this summit involve bringing together his enemies in one place? Lauren has been tasked with helping Christine find the perfect wedding dress, so it's time to check in with the women to see how that task is progressing. Apparently, Lauren pulls out all the stops to impress Cricket. What has she found for her friend, former nemesis? Billy's going to have a bit of a rough week. First, Sally stands her ground with Billy. She is so over his Chancellor obsession and his vendetta against Victor. Does she simply stand her ground verbally, or does she show her displeasure in some other way? Finally, Mariah confronts Daniel about Tessa. We're still waiting to hear what else Mariah has to say after she confessed to Tessa earlier this week. When she caught up with her wife in the park, she must have noticed a little something between Tessa and Daniel, and now she's following up on what she saw. Michael Baldwin took center stage in the September 12th episode of The Young and the Restless when he agreed to join Cain's operation, but only as part of a risky double play. While Cain believes he gained a powerful ally, Michael secretly assured Victor he would act as Newman's spy. His decision places him at the heart of the escalating corporate war, where one misstep could destroy his loyalty to both sides. In the September 12th episode of The Young and the Restless, Michael made a pivotal choice that could reshape Genoa City's power struggle. After Cain dangled a lucrative job offer, Michael accepted, but only with conditions. At the same time, he privately assured Victor that he would infiltrate Cain's operation as an inside man. This double game positions Michael at the center of the escalating war, raising the stakes for everyone caught in the Newman-Ashby conflict. Cain pressed Michael for an answer, and the lawyer delivered. Michael agreed to join Cain's organization, impressed by the money and the chance to influence the unfolding AI scheme. But he insisted on secrecy, refusing to let Victor or Lauren know about the alliance. Cain doubled his offer and shook on the deal, even urging Michael to make things right with Phyllis as part of his integration into the team. Outwardly, Michael looked ready to move on from Victor, but his next stop proved otherwise. Michael went straight to Victor's office, confirming he was in Cain's camp, but also pledging loyalty to Newman. He promised to use his new position to keep Cain in check and prevent all-out corporate war. Victor accepted, though he couldn't resist needling Michael about their history of uneven loyalty. By working as Cain's supposed ally while secretly reporting back, Michael tied himself tightly to both men, knowing it's only a matter of time before his divided loyalties are tested. Michael's decision to straddle the line between Cain and Victor deepens a dangerous web of mistrust. If Cain learns he's playing double agent, their deal, and Michael's safety, could implode. If Victor doubts his effectiveness, Michael risks losing Newman's fragile trust all over again. With Sally warning Billy against joining Cain, Phyllis clinging to her own ambitions, and Newman Enterprises eyeing cyber warfare, Michael's balancing act could determine who rises and who is ruined. That's why Y&R fans worry for Michael's safety. Clary is wondering how well she knows her boyfriend Kyle. Clare and Kyle's relationship is at a standstill on The Young and the Restless. Kyle's lies have made Clare question if they can continue on. As Clare contemplates what to do, fans are weighing in with their opinions. Kyle is Clare's first true love, someone she thought she could trust. However, recent information has caused her to see her boyfriend in a new light. Clare was upset to learn about Kyle and Audra's kiss in France. Although Kyle declared he did it to bust Audra and Victor's plan, his betrayal hurt Clare. As if that wasn't enough, Clare also learned about Kyle's contract with her grandfather. Although she was surprised Kyle went to great lengths to prove his love, she's also angry that he kept another secret. Now, Clare is trying to determine if she can trust Kyle again. The decision is not only tough for her, but also Y&R fans. On a soap opera message board, fans debated whether Clare should forgive Kyle. Most fans believed that Clare needs to get over Kyle's betrayal. OMG, St. Clair. Kyle knows all the things in your past and has gotten over it, wrote one viewer. If you think you can, then go to therapy together and work on it with him, suggested one user. However, some fans agree she needs time. Clare is processing what Kyle kept from her. She has asked him for time. I don't blame her for not being sure of the future for her and Kyle, one viewer wrote. With Clare needing more time and space, it's not boding well for Kyle. While he's not giving up on Clare, she's slowly drifting away now that she's hanging out with Holden. If something happens between Clare and Holden, one must wonder if Kyle will forgive her. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for the week of September 15th, 2025. It shows Mariah Copeland and Daniel Romalotti Jr. secretly meeting plus Sally Spectra bonds with Diane Jenkins Abbott. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start out with Mariah, who has a meeting with Daniel. The preview clip shows the two of them meeting in the park. The redhead asks if Daniel did what she asked. The man confirms he did, and Tessa Porter has no idea they are meeting right now. Could Mariah tell Daniel what she did to that man? Or could she have another type of request? Mariah is clearly turning to Daniel because this has to do with Tessa. The redhead admitted that she's going away to a clinic to get a handle on her mental health. Tessa was furious as Aria Porter Copeland already senses that Mariah isn't present with her. The little girl knows something is wrong and is confused about what's changed with her mother. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of September 15th reveal that the preview clip also shows Sally going over to the Abbott manse. The redhead most likely wants to talk to Jack Abbott about how to save Billy Abbott. However, it doesn't appear that Jack is home. So, when Diane asks Sally if everything is all right, she answers honestly. The redhead tells Jack's wife, "No, Billy is not all right. He's about to make the biggest mistake of his life. Over with Cain Ashby. He will meet with Billy to discuss the proposition." Although Sally is dead set against it, Billy seems poised to accept Cain's offer. The tycoon tells Billy, "How long have you dreamt about taking down Victor Newman, Eric Braden? Now all you gotta do is say yes, and you can let the dismantling of Newman Enterprises begin." While Billy seems like he's going to take the deal, I wonder if he's the one who will be the hero in the end. If Billy ends up saving the Newman family's businesses, then that would force Victor to treat him a tad better than he has in the past. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of September 15th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal that a Los Angeles noir storyline is on the horizon. Recently, Y&R head writer and executive producer Josh Griffith gave a sneak peek into a mystery involving Noah Newman, along with some new characters. In a recent interview with TV Insider, Griffith discussed a significant LA noir narrative featuring Sharon Newman and Nick Newman at its core. Nick and Sharon are set to embark on a quest to save Noah from a very perilous situation that connects with the characters played by Roger Howarth and Tamara Braun. Additionally, Matt Cohen will join this storyline when he makes his entrance as Detective Burrow, suggesting he might assist Nick and Sharon in their mission to rescue Noah. Josh Griffith teased that viewers can expect to see some transformations in Noah, now that he has been absent for some time. It appears Noah will exhibit a bit more attitude and demonstrate his autonomy from the Newman family, which will ultimately lead to some conflicts with Nick. Following on the heels of Days of Our Lives, Billy Flynn taking over the role of Cain Ashby, another Days of Our Lives former regular, Lucas Adams, is taking over the role of Noah. On Duel, Lucas and Tamara Braun played son and mother, but it won't be a mother-son relationship this time. Of course, there will be some alterations in Noah's appearance, as Lucas Adams takes over the role. He's blonde, for one. Regarding Griffith, he believes that now is the perfect moment for Noah to make a significant impact with his comeback, particularly since this will bring Sharon and Nick closer together as they navigate through all the drama. We've gradually started to bring them closer together again, even though they aren't quite ready to be a couple yet. However, I believe their bond has been revitalized, and therefore, I was looking for a really impactful way to immerse them into this new storyline, Griffith explained. Josh Griffith decided that Noah's return was the ideal method to achieve that, so now fans are eagerly anticipating Lucas Adams' debut in the role. Regarding Adams being blonde, it sounds like he'll take more after Sharon in his looks. and a better family match, since Faith Newman is blonde as well. Yet he has the rugged look of Nick in his facial features, so he should definitely be a good match to the family. Naturally, audiences are eager to discover how Tamara Braun's Sienna Bacall and Roger Howarth's mysterious character are connected to Noah's peril. There has been talk of Howarth potentially stepping into the role of a recast Tucker McCall, but we'll just have to wait and see. It may be a surprise what unfolds when he appears on screen. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that this Noah turmoil will deliver a lot of thrills, so make sure to stay tuned for news on Sharon, Nick, and Detective Burrow's forthcoming investigation.